And we are. Hey, actually, wait a minute. Sage, before we get started on the normal show, what's that behind you? Are you okay? What's that?
What are you talking about? What are you
No,
talking about?
Sage. Sage, turn around.
No! 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 No!
It's the Halloween edition of the WWE Wrestling Podcast. And I'm here with my boy, What up, Sage? Sage, you there? What up, Sage? Oh no, what up, Sage? Uh-oh.
Sage is no longer here. He is no longer of this world.
Well, I've got to show you something. It's not really Jigsaw that you're looking at. Though I do want to play a game. I have a confession to make. Sage Ren, it's not really. I'm sorry, it's not really Jigsaw. It's none other than.
No!
He's back. He's back.
What is this tomfoolery?
What up, everybody? It's the Halloween edition of the It's Real Wrestling Podcast. I'm excited to be back with the move. We had a good show last week, special show last week, featuring some. I didn't get a chance to fully listen to the entire show. I was busy moving to the new Swag Arena, the Ric Flair Drip Arena. Still not done, so the setup will be probably a couple months from now. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. How you doing, man?
You know what I do. You know when I do it. There was no show last week. Sage the mark. Missed the mark. And that's why Sage Ren is here today.
That's right. So happy Halloween, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed the intro. Got some hot takes. We got a lot to get into this week. So I want to start off on a strong point, controversial topic, where we commented on the show 2 weeks ago. You brought it up. I didn't know anything about it, but around the Saudi Arabia, the Crown Jewel event, WWE announced, I think, was it today or yesterday during their third quarter earnings, that they're still going to be doing the show? So what are your thoughts on them still doing it?
You know, it was a hard spot for them to be in either way. They had a contractual obligation with them, and I'm assuming that there was no out clause for them.
It's a 10-year, $150 million contract.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that they, in light of the situation and the multiple attempts of the cover up for the Saudis, I kind of think that they would have been better placed if they would have probably hosted it somewhere else, maybe like in the United Kingdom or something like that. But it's business. We understand that it's business, but I think that it's unfortunate. I don't think you reward such behavior like that. I think just sends a negative precedence, and it'll be interesting to see what the viewership looks like for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, other businesses are still doing business out there, and nothing's been confirmed yet. So by the time Crown Jewel actually happens, unless something gets confirmed with this Saudi prince and his involvement in the incident, I think they should, unless something's 100% committed and true, I think they should still go with it, especially since...
Oh, it's been committed and true. Like they admitted to it. They tried to first say that it was a sting operation that went wrong. Well, first they denied it. Then it was it went wrong. It was a botched operation that went wrong. And then they went to the king doesn't know about it. And then this is some wrestling kind of stuff, man. And then they ended up the Turkish people ended up releasing a video which actually showed that they hired a body double to go around parade as the journalist in his own clothing. Like they showed him coming in and then coming out with the dude's clothes, paraded around the entire city. dumped the clothes. They showed him dumping the clothes, and then went back and had caught a flight out to back to Saudi Arabia, man. So they did it. They've confirmed it that they've done it. The cleanup is there, and for WWE, it's the show must go on. So it's like the circus.
I think that it's not about Saudi and this one person committing his actions, but I think for the WWE, it's about the fans, the guys who were out there that enjoyed the product. So,
But who? That's what we were talking about, Goose. I mean, when we saw the pay per view, saw the fans out there. There were no fans in the crowd at the greatest Royal Rumble. There were nothing but people just. Well, there was nothing but people that were just betting. There was like no
the oil
T-shirts,
tycoons, yeah.
I mean, I don't see where these fans are. WWE cuts out a press release saying that, oh, we've had a relationship with Saudi Arabia for 20 years. Where? Because I sure don't see it. And the Greatest Royal Rumble didn't show me anything that there were fans that actually enjoyed the product that were out there.
Yeah, I mean, if there were fans, they're doing it for the fans at this point. So, yeah, hot topic for WWE because a lot of money on the line, but business is business. So, where do you let go? So, I'm okay with what they did. To be honest with you, I'm okay with the show still going on out there. Controversial topic to say the least. Outside of the ring, outside of WWE, anything to comment on that you could think of? Oh, since our last show, the Bullet Club have kind of, on being the elite, have mentioned that they're going to be free agents this, I think, January.
Yeah. It's
And
all talk, man. They ain't going nowhere. Although it would be
no,
interesting for one of them to show up at the Greatest War, or not the Greatest War Rumble, but Crown Jewel for maybe just a stint. But I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking maybe like Kenny Omega comes out of nowhere and squares off with Seth Rollins. But I mean that's kind of wishful thinking at this point.
yeah, I know. I think since they'll be, well, I mean, they're not going to be free agents until January, but I think they're just hyping it up. Bullet Club or Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks have both said this is their final Bullet Club shirt on sale, so they're kind of teasing the fact that they may be leaving, but I don't think they'll leave. They shouldn't. They got a lot of good stuff going on. So where do you want to start off this week?
Well, man, we still got a lot of stuff outside the ring that we haven't talked about. I mean, Goose, you haven't been around for 2 weeks, man. We got the Mighty Mouse situation that's going on right now.
Yeah, you're right.
We had Austin Aries, pull a fast one on Impact Wrestling on his way out. I mean, it's a Halloween episode right now, and in the house, the haunting on House Hill is hot on Netflix right now. I don't know if your boy has seen that or not, but you need to see that. And then the Call of Duty, man, and the failure of Call of Duty. I mean, look, when you want to start, Goose? We got a lot to talk about, son.
All right, let's start with the failure of Call of Duty. So talk to me about that. Are we saying that sales haven't been as good as they were? Like, define failure of Call of Duty.
Yeah, man. So I mean, there's no disputing that the sales of this thing is gone crazy, and I think that it's largely has to do with the whole frenzy of the battle royale thing. But when you actually play the game itself, you could tell that they spent the majority of their time in only one mode. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm playing in multiplayer mode, and I'm seeing search and destroy with no option for respawn, with a 3-minute time limit on the match. What is that? You got team deathmatch that's like not even team deathmatch. It's like a 2-minute session. Like I don't know what's going on. The servers are crap. I mean, Goose, they spent more time on one or two modes than they did in the entire multiplayer, and there's no campaign. I mean, come on, this isn't Call of Duty, son. The entire multiplayer map is just a rehash. The entire multiplayer map is just a rehash of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 maps.
Yeah, reskin. Yeah, so I'll give you that. I played a little bit with the move. I didn't get to play as much as I wanted to, but I played a little bit. Didn't really like the spawn system in multiplayer. It seemed a bit like, man, you better have silencers or you're done. And I don't like how you get to, apparently, I can't figure it out. You get to pick where you respawn. Like, I could really do without that screen. I don't care where I respawn. Just don't put me near an
Perks and the
enemy and we're
kill
good.
streaks, bro. Well, I mean, I haven't even talked about that piece of it, man. The kill, the perks are just insane. You can only have two. uh, you can only have 10 slots, and out of those 10 slots, it's for weapons, attachments of the weapons, the perks, and the wild card spots that actually add another slot for perks or weapon attachments. But you can only have 10 slots, and it makes the game just like there's no creativity, nothing new about any of the perks whatsoever.
Yeah, I know that that was a complaint some of my friends had. I did play the Battle Royale mode a couple times. I think I came in fourth or fifth at best. My style game. It's all about camping, being quiet, flanking, being super quiet, and hanging out in the good spots. So I'm all for that mode. I didn't get to play it a ton. I miss that there's no kill streaks, but since I play with headphones, I definitely sound whore a bit and wait for cats that are on ATVs and all that good stuff, traveling through, or people in zombies mode. I actually dig zombies mode this year. I'm gonna try to get into it this weekend. Get some good playing time in, but I actually dig zombies mode.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with zombie mode. I played it's probably between that and kill confirm. That's probably the two modes that I'll be playing the most out of the game. But big letdown, man. I mean, this is coming from a guy who hasn't played Call of Duty since Black Ops 2. I mean, it's a big letdown. I can tell where all their focus is, and I feel like this isn't the game for me. Um, EA needs to come out with Medal of Honor because this crap right here is just terrible. This is essentially Medal of Honor on the PlayStation 3. Like this game, Black Ops 4, it's exactly like Medal of Honor for PlayStation 3. And people thought that was crap, but yet they're coming to this and they're thinking it's all the rage. Like I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I gotcha. Austin Aries walking out. You mentioned Austin Aries a second ago. To me, that's I get what you're doing, and if it's scripted, great, man. It's got me watching. But I don't know what went on, but it's just unprofessional, man. Um, I'll
It's
give
a
him.
pattern.
It's becoming one, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a pattern. He did it with Impact originally. He did it on the indie scenes. He came to the WWE. He, I mean, he basically did the same thing. He asked for his out on there after losing to Neville. Goes back on the indie screen on the indie scene. He's basically booed out of the indie scene. Gets picked up by Impact, and then just does this whole thing again. I was rooting for the guy because I felt like his stint on the WWE was kind of like reminiscent of what Neville was going through, but which is exactly what Neville was going through. But you see how Neville handled it versus how Austin Aries has handled this, and I mean, this is why he lost his girl. I mean, I'm just saying, this is why he lost his girl, man. You can't be throwing these types of temper tantrums just because you don't get your way at work.
And for the listeners out there, you want to tell them who his girl was?
Zelina Vega,
That's right. You know who she's dating now, right?
Aleister Black. I told you that a couple weeks back.
That's right. Just keeping it in the biz. Yeah, I thought it was super unprofessional, man. Handle your biz. I'll give him credit though. Is if that was if that was a shoot and it was unprofessional, all that he quit just like that. At least, I mean, it could have been worse. So there were some sick bumps in the match, but he kept John Morrison safe. He could have went out
Yeah,
there, botched a bunch of moves, hurt himself or hurt Morrison. So it was professional up until the ending.
yeah.
Not needed.
From what, yeah, from what I understand, his contract was up after that match, so it wasn't his no selling. Like it wasn't from what I saw and from what I'm reading. It wasn't on Johnny Impact or John Morrison. It wasn't on him. It was more of about the producer because he kept flicking off the producer, and as soon as he got out of the ring, he was looking at the producer, and then just kind of beelined it to the back, still talking that yap to the producer Don Callis. So it had nothing to do with him. But I mean, you're spoiling the dude's moment. This is his first championship in Impact Wrestling. You kind of spoil his moment, man. To me, I get it, but like if like if it was a work shoot, I get it. That's cool, but it doesn't. To me, it's not smelling like it's a work shoot. But
Yeah, if it was a
we'll
work
see.
shoot, it worked.
Yeah,
100%.
for
It
sure.
it absolutely worked. If keyword is if. What else did you mention outside the ring a second ago?
So we got Mighty Mouse, and then we got the Haunting of House Hill, man.
Okay. The Haunting of House Hill on Netflix. I haven't watched yet, but I'm going to binge watch it probably in the next week because I've heard it's
Okay.
amazing. Well, I'm going to do it before Halloween, just so I'm still in the spooky movie mode. Um, but yeah, I've heard it. I've heard great things. Did you see? Well, what are your thoughts? Have you seen any of it?
Yeah, so I saw the whole thing, man. I binge watched it in like 2 days. I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to watch it because I kind of thought that just by the name of it, I thought it was going to be a rip from the House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah,
And it's a loose reference to it overall. So don't go in
The
thinking,
Haunting. Yeah, the Hugh Crane and yeah.
yeah, and then Femke Jensen, Femke Jensen, my Dark Phoenix. Anyhow, um, yeah. So I mean, it's very loosely related to it. So don't go into it thinking of that way. Just go in with an open mind, and all I will say, well, all I will say is just pay attention to every little detail
Oh, I will.
from the very beginning because it's a psychological thriller just as much as it is a horror kind of film, I guess. And then at the end of it, when you finish watching it, I want you to ask yourself the question: would you want a second season of this?
That's what I've heard. I've heard that it's up in the air. Like it's popular, so they could, anytime something's big, they could make a sequel. But I read a blurb that the writers intended for this to be a one season gig, but you never know
Yeah,
what'll happen. Now, speaking of sequels and popularity, Halloween #1 in the box office this weekend even had some references on Raw with Triple H referencing Michael Myers and Halloween being nostalgic and never dying. I got to see Halloween Sunday night. Great movie. Go check it out if you get a chance. I highly recommend it. It's a throwback to the 1978 film. Man, it was good. It's got Easter eggs. It's got stuff that's a complete throwback to the original film. It was just a great movie, man. Go check it out if you
nice.
get a chance.
I
I
will.
saw Venom as well, and in my opinion, I think Venom was made to be rated R, and they finagled it and worked it down to PG-13. It was still a okay to good movie, but I wouldn't mind seeing if it was rated R. You haven't seen Venom yet, have you?
I have not.
It's worth, and there's a theater up the street from your house where you can go 1 minute before the movie starts because that's where I saw it.
Man, don't be telling people where I live, bro.
No, 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 no. He lives
I ain't
close to
trying
a
to get
movie
doxxed.
theater. He lives within 10 miles of a movie theater. I'll say that. And then
Yeah.
what was the one you said right before the Haunting on Hill House?
What up, Silky? And happy belated birthday, bro. Mighty Mouse. Yeah, man. So
Yeah,
there's
that
rumors out there
trade.
right now about Mighty Mouse being traded to one championship. Wanted to see what you thought about that, son.
I think I like the idea behind it that it's unique, but I also feel like UFC is giving up on one of their greatest champions of all time.
Yeah.
Well, unless they talk to Mighty Mouse and somebody else, I don't remember his name, somebody else just signed with one as well, and they got paid a ton of money. Like, I think it was something like 8 figures for the life of their contract. It'll be something like 8 figures. So I won't be surprised if Demetrius Johnson just said, "Well, wait, what's the paycheck look like?" Oh, all right. Well, I'll go over there and whoop up on some people.
Yeah. I mean, he's already taken down all reference to UFC on all of his social media profiles, man. So it's kind of weird. And at first, it kind of sounded as though that it was like done under the radar, but that just might be a work. Um, but I don't. I'm in the same camp as you, man. I kind of think that it's a bit disrespectful to trade one of your. I'm not going to say biggest guys because like UFC treats him like crap, even though he wins
Yeah,
matches. They treat him like crap. And he's a humble dude. And I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe that'll be the jump start for one championship that they need to kind of be in the actual competition to UFC, because outside of WWE, I mean, there really is no competition for them.
No, I agree. I don't know what they're going to do or how it'll turn out, but it's just interesting to see now that we have Bellator 1, who's trying to be a major player in the game, and the UFC, with the UFC kind of being the WWE of it all, of the MMA world. Now, we could start off with the title of our show and go into the Roman Reigns bit, and we could go into to Raw, which kind of had a lot of crazy twists to it. But let's go into SmackDown first, if you don't mind, because with the move and stuff I've been doing. What's that?
It's the only show I watched this week, anyway.
Did you watch SmackDown this week?
I watched SmackDown. I didn't watch Raw.
Oh, all right. Well, you know, let's switch the game up.
Okay.
I didn't watch SmackDown, but I did watch Raw.
Okay.
So talk to me about what happened on SmackDown. I know Rey Mysterio was on, right?
Yeah, man, and I'm actually going to just real quick kind of recap, since you were gone last week. They had SmackDown 1000 last week, and it was to what we thought it would be, which was a glorified house show. It had some good moments. You know, it started out with the McMahons coming out, which I thought that was kind of interesting.
And the dance party.
The little dance party. I have an alternative conspiracy theory as to why they came out, but that's just me.
Well, what is it?
So I kind of think that they had made the decision that they were going to go to Saudi Arabia at that point last week, and I think that to kind of show face and to kind of make sure that, hey, the Saudis know that, hey, we're here, kind of thing. Like, all my family is here. We're going to make the right decision. I think that that's kind of the reason why they showed up. I don't know, kind of like a proof of life kind of thing. But, you know, that is conspiracy theory. But, you know, I'm going to stick with it.
All right, all right.
So, but, yeah, I mean, the highlight of that show really was Evolution coming out, man. And they let Batista talk, bro. I mean, each one of them cut a promo, and they were okay. I mean, Batista started talking about Ric Flair's dong for like 5 minutes, no joke. And that was pretty funny. And then Randy Orton took shots at Batista, and Batista kind of let it slide. He acknowledged Blue-tista and Boo-tista.
Yeah, he did.
Which was pretty cool that he owned that. And then kind of like on the low key challenged Triple H, which, you know, he came out and said that he's never beat Batista, and I had to like go back and look at the record, and I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. When Evolution split up, Triple H lost to him at WrestleMania 21. I know, because I think it was WrestleMania 21, because I was there. So, yeah, it was. I thought that was interesting, SmackDown 1000. But you're right, it was definitely a glorified house show.
Yeah, sounds good. But fast forwarding to this week here, you know, SmackDown was pretty good, man. It started out with the New Day, you know, calling out the Big Show, and the Bar now has their own trio with the Big Show, and you know, and so that match happened between Big Show and Kofi Kingston, and then they kind of just went all crazy.
Are they doing the Freebird rule, where any two of them could defend?
Yeah, they did the Freebird rule. It was supposed to be a one-on-one match, and it was going to be, I think they had it set up where it was going to be Kofi versus Sheamus, and then Sheamus tagged out and went and had Cesaro come in, and Cesaro was like, no, you're not facing me, you're facing, and then the Big Show came in. So I thought that was a pretty interesting plot. Still don't understand how we ended up with the Big Show. I mean, as far as I know, there was no announcement that he was traded to Raw or to SmackDown, but I mean,
random.
Yeah, you know, hashtag continuity there. Let's see. And then Rey Mysterio came out to
Miz TV.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. You know, he was giving props to Truth TV, which was pretty cool. And it looks like that the Miz is going to have a little bit of a program with him, which I think that's pretty cool. I did like the dig that he gave to Daniel Bryan on the low key when he was basically tearing down Rey Mysterio. He was using the whole you came back because you wanted to prove that dreams do come true, and that if you follow your dreams, your dreams will fight for you. I was like, damn, yo, this dude is like on another level, man. This dude's on another level.
Oh yeah. What was the main event on SmackDown this week?
Ah, man, it was better than last week. I mean, last week's main event was the Taker coming out and
Yeah.
literally just saying "rest in peace."
Yeah,
So
that was weird.
yeah, that was kind of weird. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy was the main event, and it was really good, man. It was a really really good match, man. I definitely enjoyed it. So
Nice. What was the outcome? I completely missed SmackDown.
yeah, Randy Orton won clean. So well, I mean he did win clean, but there was a little bit of shenanigans in the match itself overall. So but yeah, I mean Randy Orton kind of went there. I don't know where they're going with that because it seems like they're both flailing and have no program. So surprised that they haven't put them in a program with other people. Um, yeah, and AJ and they're playing the AJ and uh,
Daniel Bryan thing.
Daniel Bryan thing is them trying to one up each other, and it sounds like they're going to end up turning AJ heel to just kind of fight that way, which I think is a mistake. I think that you can still have a face kind of thing, just make it competitive, but it's obvious that they don't know what to do with them. Shout out to Jimmy Uso for doing the Roman Reigns Superman punch when he did up in the air before he did his Samoan splash from the top ropes. Nice little touch that he did to win the match over AJ Styles for the second week in a row.
Oh, was it the Usos versus Styles and Daniel Bryan rematch?
Yeah, it was just a rematch. Usos inked the win on that one. So it was pretty good, man. It's a pretty good competitive match, but it, overall, it was just there to paint the story that Usos are still Usos are still a credible threat in the tag team division and showing more divisiveness between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. So
Nice. Well, sounds like
yeah,
SmackDown was pretty good. Raw was good this week. I gotta admit, Raw was really good. One thing that was good about Raw is that it opened. Should we just get into Roman Reigns?
yeah, man. I mean, look, we might as well just dissect this elephant in the room here. Um, let's do it, Goose.
So Roman Reigns comes out on Raw. I'm not gonna lie, I had it paused. I was getting kind of wound down, all that good stuff. And no, I was actually still moving boxes around, putting a table together. And Roman Reigns is cutting a promo. I'm not paying attention to what he's saying, so I thought it was going to be a typical Roman Reigns promo. And they're not terrible or anything. I was just busy. And lo and behold, I start hearing "Thank you, Roman" chants, and I'm like, "Hey, wait a minute, this ain't right. Hold up, this fool said something, maybe about Brock Lesnar or something. Let me rewind it." And he brought up the leukemia, and I got to give dude credit. He kept his head high in a very emotional segment. He kept his head high the whole time. And yeah, your boy kind of teared up when the Shield came out to do the fist bump. I wish the best for him. I know we rag on him on the show, and Sage and I record "This is bullshit" chants at the Royal Rumble when we didn't want him to come out. But we're also talking about the character, Roman Reigns, the character. Not the person, he himself. We don't want anybody getting hurt out there or being injured or just having to go through bouts of leukemia. So Roman Reigns, a wrestler, yeah, we're gonna boo you. It's fun to hate on you and all that stuff, but wish you a speedy recovery, man. I don't know enough about leukemia or the chances of it being fatal or how long it takes to get over it. Um, just know, man, when you get back, he might have one of the biggest pops of all time, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. And I echo that sentiment as well, Goose. And I think that we've done a pretty responsible job over the years when covering Roman Reigns. That the disappointment isn't necessarily us disappointed in him as a person, as Joe, as Joe. It's just more of his character and the way that they're taking his particular character. We've got nothing but respect for the dude. And it's a tough situation. It does put things in perspective for for me and hopefully for a lot of wrestling fans in general as to why he was getting um, the push that he he got, man. Like, and I'm not saying it was just solely because of his illness, but I mean, his work ethic is because he knew, essentially that this is his dream job. This is what he's always wanted to do, and you can't take it for granted considering everything that he's gone through for the last 11 to 12 years. Um, and it sucks when you think that you've beaten something and then it just comes back at uh, the most unfortunate of times. I mean, it's always going to be unfortunate, but just at the pinnacle of where you're going to be putting your stake in the ground for being the guy, the over guy, and it just sucks, man. I honestly can't wait until he comes back. I think that it's going to be the reaction is just going to be amazing, and I think that I think I think he's going to beat it, man. I think he's a strong dude. He's going to beat it, man, and just wish him and his family the best. Positive vibes, nothing but positive vibes for Joe.
Yeah, man. Best of luck and prayers to him. I don't think leukemia is fatal by any means, but I know it's not something you take some penicillin and you're good in a week type of thing. So shout outs to him, man. It teared it as a man, as a dad, husband, teared me up a bit. Um, just the fact that it had to happen while he's the champion, and it put into perspective that, man, this guy works his ass off and he doesn't get in trouble. He's not a locker room annoyance or anything like that. So just shout outs to Roman Reigns. And if you didn't catch the rest of Raw, Raw was good. So Paul Heyman came out, Sage, and cut a promo. And it was totally, I'm sure, before Monday when Roman Reigns made that announcement, it was just a Paul Heyman promo to hype up Crown Jewel, which the main event is now Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. But Paul Heyman, for the first, say he cut a 10-minute promo, for the first 5 minutes, he just gave credit to Roman Reigns, which was fun, like amazing for him to hear. And then, of course, he, bought the heat like Heyman could do and stuff like that. So during that segment, Braun Strowman even came out, interrupted the segment, came out and basically said, it was actually pretty cool. He basically said Brock's going to get these hands, and then said, and after Roman Reigns, and this was awesome. You said you didn't see any of it. Braun is full face now, 100%. So Braun had the face turn. He said he's going to beat Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's going to catch these hands. And then after Roman Reigns beats the crap out of leukemia, he can come and get some too. And I was like, man. So Braun even gave Roman Reigns some love. And then said, he said something like, and after Roman beats leukemia, he can get some of this too, or I'll be waiting for him. No, he said after Reigns beats leukemia, I'll make sure he's the first in line for a shot. So it was just a beautiful thing, but it was nice to see. Raw was crazy. So there was a lot of face turns, heel turns continued. So the first major face turn was Braun going back to being a face, because at the end of the promo, Drew McIntyre ran down to the ring and Claymore kicked him
Nice.
just outside the ring. So Drew McIntyre is a super heel. He may be on the verge of getting a super push here soon. Got the look for it.
Sounds like it.
So Braun turned face. So when did Drew McIntyre become 6'8" or 7 foot? Him and Jinder got released and then grew like 50 inches, right?
Yeah, man. It's I don't know if it was like a Swedish massage that they got, or or they got hooked up to some device to stretch them, like Stretch Armstrong. Throwback reference there. But yeah, man, these dudes are titans now, man. Like straight up titans. I could still beat them in a fight, but I mean, still, they're titans.
Yeah, no kidding. So another face turn. We had a major face turn. I don't know if you heard about it or seen it, but old Elias went face. He cut a promo. Apollo Crews came out. He beat Apollo Crews fair in the ring. So Elias comes out. He's starting to sing a song, cut his promo. Apollo Crews comes out for a match. He beats Apollo Crews, gets back on his guitar and says, all right, before I was interrupted, let me just go ahead and finish my song and what I was going to say. And he's up on the ramp at the entrance. Baron Corbin comes out and basically gives him the, hey, nobody's got time for this nonsense. So Elias leaves, comes right back out and pops him with the guitar, breaks the guitar over Corbin's back and leaves. So Elias...
he gave him the old slap nuts, bro.
Yep. So Elias went full face on Raw. And it was big, man. The fans, there's something about it. And I've said it before. Elias has the look, and he's got the mic skills, and he's got something about him that just draws you to him. I mean, if you think about it, he doesn't even wrestle that often or have full matches. He's almost like Bray Wyatt. Like Bray cuts these promos, then you don't see him for a month. Cuts a promo, wins a big match, and you don't see him for a month.
Yeah.
So Elias will be a good face, especially since he knows how to work the guitar and work the mic. Rest of Raw, other than that, there was a couple of good women's segments, good women's matches that were really there to help build up the women's pay-per-view. Actually, I think the women's Evolution, I think it's this Sunday, right?
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
Okay, sweet. Oh, man, we better hurry up. We got to
get predictions in, man.
Yes. Ronda Rousey cut a great promo. She's starting to really nail down these promos, but I'll speed it up. End of Raw. Huge. So Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, the Shield, defeat Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler for the titles. And I thought at the end of the show that it was a total, hey, the Shield wins in tribute to Roman Reigns, and you see Ambrose and Rollins hugging in the rings, and then boom, dirty deeds on Seth Rollins.
What?
Yep. Dirty deeds on Seth Rollins.
Oh my gosh.
Ambrose beats the crap out of Seth Rollins, takes the tag title that they just won, and basically gives it to Rollins and gives him the nah, I never wanted this shit anyways. How great is that?
Wow. So what, they're going to end up vacating the titles?
Tune in next Monday and we'll find out.
Yo, that's awesome, man. That's the unpredictability that we've been asking for a while, man. We never saw that coming a million miles away. The heel turn, yes, but then winning the tag titles and then the heel turn while he has the tag titles, I don't think that's ever been done before.
No, not at all.
That's pretty awesome, man. Speaking of Ronda Rousey, man, what did you think about that promo last week?
I thought it was good, man. I think that she's nailing her scripted promos. You know what I'm saying? I think that her, especially since she referenced John Cena. So yeah, I think she's nailing them pretty well. Ronda Rousey's just
Nikki didn't like that, bro. That look she had on her face, bro.
No, not at all. But she's Ronda's nailing it.
Yeah, she is.
All right, so Raw was good, SmackDown was good, big week in wrestling. Before we get into the predictions, I got to ask you, is NXT UK going to be a normal show like NXT?
Yes. So it started last week, it debuted last week, and it literally comes off after NXT, the regular NXT. So it basically goes 205 Live, NXT, and then NXT UK.
And they're all an hour?
And they're all an hour.
Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling to watch.
Yeah. So it was pretty solid, man. The first episode was pretty solid, man. I'm still clamoring over last week's episode of NXT when Nikki Cross, they teased Nikki Cross being involved in a three-way tag team, or not tag team, but a three-way for the title, the NXT title. I shouldn't use that all in the same sentence, but it is what it is. That I would love to see, man. Nikki Cross, Velveteen Dream, and Tommaso Ciampa in a three-way dance for the title. Yo, sign me up all freaking day.
That's awesome. Well, let's get into our predictions for the Evolution card. I completely forgot it was this Sunday, but I'll definitely be watching, especially since the Dolphins played tonight. Matter of fact, let me check the score. That's one thing is
Okay.
cable isn't set up in all rooms. Every Thursday night, I normally got something on in the background, just to ease the mind. And what was it? Sometimes I'll have football on. The Browns when Baker Mayfield Sage. Me and you
Yeah,
watched that game live, and I think what was it? Nightmare on Elm Street the other week that I
Nightmare on
watched.
Elm Street.
So, oh, all right. I just checked the score. Oh, Dolphins lost 42-23.
Jeez,
Wow.
my bad, bro. Sorry. Is Kenny still injured on your as your wide receivers?
No,
He's
he's
on
not
the
injured. He's just doing terrible. We
oh
have
he's so he's active.
yeah, he's out there. We're just got a bad team.
Gotcha.
Ugh. All right, I don't need to talk about football anymore. Let's get into, let's get into evolution here. So let's get into evolution.
Yeah.
I kind of want to start from. Let's go with Sasha Bailey and Natalia versus the Riot Squad.
So hold up, man. Is Sasha back? Because I haven't seen her in like 3 weeks.
Me neither. However, well, I think she was on Raw. If I remember, yeah, she was on Raw.
I
But
heard.
I've heard she was banged up. But if you're fighting in a 6-man tag, you can kind of take it easy.
Yeah. Is she? Have you like literally seen her wrestle in the last 2 weeks or so?
Not that I could recall. I
Okay.
think she's
The,
banged up.
the, the reason why I asked, man, is apparently she wrestled last week. I did not see it. It was cut from Hulu. I didn't see it. Um, apparently she has like, and this is a picture that I've seen. I don't know if it was doctored up or not. But there's a picture where she has a big ass tattoo like on her mid size of her back and also on her arm. Like we're talking about like Randy Orton style of
Oh
angel.
wow, nice.
Um, yeah, so I was just kind of interested to see if you saw that and if it was real or not. So I guess we'll find out this Sunday.
Yeah. So who do you have winning the match? The Riot Squad. I'm going full Riot Squad on this one.
He said Sasha, Bailey, and who?
Natalia.
Natalia. I don't know, man. I'll go with Sasha Bailey and Natalia. This whole I'm so disappointed in this entire card, man. I'm so disappointed. Um,
Why? It's a stacked card.
no, the idea of it was stacked at first, but it's just become a clusterfuck of nothingness, man. We've got
But what
we had
what could have been done to make the card better?
bruh, like this battle royal, like seriously, man, we've had four battle royals since the beginning of the year. You're gonna throw them in another battle royal just to kind of showcase 2 minutes of everyone from the past and in the future. Like
But it
no,
shows if you have the first ever women's pay-per-view, you have to figure out a way to have every single woman on the card. And a
but
battle
you
royal
can
is the easy.
do it.
You can't have like 20 matches.
It's lazy, man. Like you could the first ever women's pay per view doesn't have to have a battle royal and doesn't need to have all these people in it, man. Like give us the matchups that we would want to see, man. Let's see Nia Jax versus Beth Phoenix. Let's see Tamina versus which Tamina's back, which I thought it was great. But let's have Tamina versus Ember Moon. Let's have Asuka versus uh, uh, Asuka versus Lita, or I mean, I can go all
So
day.
you're saying
Molly Holly versus Carmella. Like you had an opportunity to make the best matchups with good, like or not good, but the best matchups between the people of old and the people of new. But instead, you're putting like literally more than half of your current roster in a battle royal, which is going to take up at least an hour and a half of the entire pay-per-view card, and then your main event that you've been kind of like bolstering this. It became a one-on-one match between Bliss and what's her name?
Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella.
No, not Tori.
Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus. It was a one-on-one match, and now it's a tag team match. Like, what the hell, man? Like, subject. This whole thing should have been called Subject to Change, because that's exactly what this pay-per-view is. Is a whole.
If you're having the first ever women's battle royal and you have 20 women in the battle royal, you have to have time to put them on the card.
What? We didn't need this whole thing wasn't advertised as a battle royal. The battle royal, remember, we've been marketing this thing they've been marketing this thing for close to 2.5 months now. The battle royal wasn't announced until last week. Okay, the card as we saw it, as it was presented to us in week 1, was amazing. As it was, build off of that. We don't need to see a repeat of the Royal Rumble. We don't. There's no reason for it.
Let's see a card with 7 or 8 matches.
Yeah, 7 or 8 matches. Make it a 2-hour show. It doesn't need to be a full 3.5 hour show. Make it a 2-hour show. Put on the best matches that you have, and call it a day. Like, and if you want to do a battle royal, do a 15 battle royal like they do for WrestleMania, and call it a day, man. But don't put on a 40-woman battle royal where all it's going to be is just a flipping spot fest for them.
Well, it's not 40 women. It's only a 20-person battle royal.
That's no better, Goose.
Yeah, good point.
It's no better.
So you think the battle royal is a cop out, and it's just it doesn't provide anything. That it's just basically saying, hey, we're having an all-woman show. We have to have all women's faces on camera at some point. So just throw in a battle royal for those people that don't have singles matches.
Exactly.
So who do you think's going to win the battle royal?
This is nonsense, man. So the battle royal is what? It's for the winner is going to get a future opportunity at one of their brand titles. I think is how
whatever. Yeah.
My money is on someone in NXT winning it, man. I think they're going to end up putting a women's belt on there, and I think this is a good segue to do it. My money would be on what's her name?
Nikki Cross?
No, EST, Bianca Belair. I have her winning it, man.
Okay, pretty interesting. So I'll go with Tamina on this one. Now, Trish Stratus, you just said a second ago, it's now down to a tag team match. Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. I've got Trish Stratus and Lita for sure winning this one.
Yeah, hands down. I think this is a gateway to a Mickie versus Trish match at WrestleMania. Shout outs to Mel Johnson coming back after slanging those things. He's saying that the women's Evolution was 3 months advertised, and he's like right on board with your boy Sage Wren. So I mean, just putting it out there. Yeah, man, it's gotta, like I said, this is a gateway match to WrestleMania. So you got the faces winning on this one. I think we're in agreement.
Yeah. Now the main event of the Mae Young Classic is going to be going down this weekend. And it's Toni Storm versus Io Shirai?
Yeah, Io
Shirai. I don't know anything about these girls. Who do you got winning this one?
Man, this one's kind of tough, man. This is really, really tough, man. My heart says it's Toni Storm, but my gut is Io Shirai. I feel like because this is going to be for an opportunity at the NXT title. I don't know if you put Io Shirai with Shayna Baszler or what's her name?
Kairi Sane.
And then if and I also feel that not Nikki Cross, but what's her name? Hey, NXT does have a women's title. What am I talking about?
Yeah, they do, and they're fighting on the card against the two people that
right?
you just mentioned. Yeah,
I know, man. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have Irish Sherrod versus Baszler or
Kairi
Kairi
Sane.
Sane. So I'm gonna say that the winner is going to be. I think the winner is going to be Tony Storm, and then Tony Storm's going to end up fighting Rhea Ripley, who's the NXT UK Women's Champion.
That's right. That's right. Well, she's fighting on the card too, Rhea Ripley, against to be announced. We don't know who she's going to be fighting, but for the NXT UK Women's Champion. Now, Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler is an interesting match. They've fought a couple times before.
Yeah.
2 big matches. Matter of fact, these two fought at the end of the Mae Young Classic and in a rematch for the NXT, or in a match for the NXT title. Who do you have winning this one?
Hot, bro.
Huh?
All of their matches have been hot.
Yeah, they have. They've been amazing matches. Matter of fact, this is the match that I would vote could steal the show. I think Becky Lynch and Charlotte should be the front runner for match of the night, but Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler. So I've got Kairi Sane retaining this one because I could see Shayna Baszler getting the call up soon, especially with Ronda Rousey on the main roster.
Yeah, I struggle with this one, man, because like I agree, her call up's coming pretty soon because they're going to form the Horsewomen pretty soon. I think that they're just trying to wait for the other 2 ladies to kind of be up there. I don't think those other 2 ladies are going to make their debut roster.
No, not at all.
Yeah, even though they're fighting right now in NXT, I don't think that they're going to make their debut there. So what I imagine is going to happen is Shayna's going to win. Shayna's going to win the match and beat her. They're going to have their rubber match because it'll be 1-1 and as far as their NXT career goes, because this is Shayna's first rematch since she's lost the belt. And then I think that Kairi will beat her for the 3rd time of the rubber match, and then I think Kairi will fight EST for the championship. I think that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I think Kairi Sane's going to win this one too. Now, the 2 main events, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, this clearly has the chance to just main event the whole show, to be the best match of the night. I've actually got Becky Lynch continuing the mean streak and winning this one.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying to figure out where do they go from here, because at some point you have to get Charlotte onto Raw. I mean, I've got to believe that that's the end game for the entire thing. Do you give Charlotte another win to surpass her father? Like, is it? It seems
of course,
soon, man. It just seems too soon.
It's inevitable going to happen.
I mean, I know it is, but yeah, my air capacity is like messing up right now. Okay, there we go. Damn, I messed up again. You're about to see the ugliness of my face. Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Charlotte. I hate to say it, man. I'm gonna go with Charlotte to win this one, man. I think they're gonna end up having another match, man. I don't want it to happen, but I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, true, very true. And in the main event, Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. Before we wrap up the show today, I think this is an interesting match, but I just don't, because the title is on the line. I just don't see her winning the championship.
You don't think Nikki's going to win the championship?
Correct. I think you may have some shenanigans out there with Brie, but I think Ronda Rousey is going to ultimately take this one.
Oh man, I don't know where Ronda goes from here if she beats Nikki. I've got to believe that they're going to want to extend this out now that Nikki is back, and where Nikki would go after she takes an L to Ronda. I mean, is it crazy to say that Ronda loses, but maybe not the belt?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
And maybe she gets disqualified or something like that because her sister keeps interfering in the match. And I feel like the end of this one is going to be at Survivor Series when the Horsewomen come to play.
Yeah,
Um,
very much.
yeah, so I'm gonna go with Nikki for the win. I'm not confident that she's gonna win the belt, but I feel like she's going to win maybe by disqualification to help condition the crowd for a Ronda loss in the future.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see how it turns out. I think Ronda leaves with the title. I think Nikki's still kind of part time. She's got her own thing going on. So what else? What else do we have to get into? Is there anything else to get into this week?
As far as wrestling goes, I mean, I think that that's it, man. I'm glad that we did go over Evolution. I feel like from a marketing standpoint, it's been a disaster. They've been talking more about Crown Jewel than they have Evolution, which I think is insane. But I mean, it is what it is. I really do hope Crown Jewel fails.
But that
Um,
means you're going in with low expectations, so the show will probably be good.
yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm still on the fence on whether or not I'm gonna watch it. I kind of feel at this point that I'm probably not gonna watch it, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, this week, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. A little hiatus with the Ben Goosen move to the Ultra Stadium, the Swag Stadium. No more sitting on the floor in closets to do the show. So we appreciate you guys listening. Shout outs again to Roman Reigns. Best of luck for you fighting leukemia and going up uh, and super punching the hell out of leukemia in the face here. Everybody, keep it calm. Stay real. Don't hate. Don't send bombs. It's bad news. Don't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, bombs are bad. Just enjoy one another. And if you can't enjoy one another, go meet a wrestling fan. We all love each other. I'm Ben Goose and Say, do you want to chime in on anything else?
Yeah, man. Just real quick. Best heel of all time, or heel turn of all time, has to be Hulk Hogan. Turning and forming the NWO. Just saying, Silky Mel, just because you
Oh,
asked
chat.
for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, by far, by far. I'd say if I had to rate one personally, I'd say Shawn Michaels kicking Marty Jannetty through the window because I was personally at that taping. It was here in San Antonio. So, and I remember it specifically because I was looking down and it was when Marty Jannetty got kicked through the window, I didn't see it happen because I was looking down to get some food and I was all mad and I thought, man, that ain't gonna be a historic moment in Shawn Michaels' career ever. Boy, was I wrong. So I'll never live that day down. But yeah, go ahead and enjoy the show. Hit us up, irwp.us. Literally, just go on Twitter, type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast. You'll find us. We're always at the top of the results. Appreciate you guys listening. I'm your boy Ben Goose, and that's your boy Sage and Mark saying,
Keep it real. Check us out on Mixer.
Halloween episode. Later, suckers.